Hello, good morning and welcome to Sports on the AM show. My name is George Adder Jr. and we begin with some good news for Accra Hearts of Oak fans. You know what? Your team is heading into match day 8 of the preseason training, and this time with trainer Frank Nuttall, who arrived last night after massive concerns over his future at the club. The Phobians return to training to begin preparations for the coming season, but the absence of their coach raised eyebrows that there may be underlying problems. Now, Nuttall was reportedly unhappy over the lack of recruitment of top talent and also the lack of direction, which were alleged to be his reasons for staying away. His arrival puts all these issues to bed, though, but spokesperson, Kwame Opare-Addo is looking forward to a fruitful training session later today.
Well, Frank Nuttall, if everything goes on well, he will take over the training regime from tomorrow, Wednesday. But in his absence, Henry Wellington, the team manager, and the goalkeepers trainer, they are taking the players through the training regime. We've been at training for 8 days now. On the first day, second day, third day, players didn't respond that positively, which made management send them a reminder again that we needed to have all of them present at training on Friday, latest by Monday. So yesterday at the training ground, almost all the senior players responded. And today, even though I've not been there today, I've been told that everybody's present at training today.
Accra Hearts of Oak will be getting ready for this. Remember, they play Ashanti Gold in a couple of games before pre-season, and we talk about the GA tournament before we get into next season's Ghana Premier League. But shall we talk about the champions of Ghana Premier League last season? And the Adriana Stars will land their opponents in the preliminary stage of the CAF Champions League when the draw is conducted later this evening in Cairo, Egypt. Now, holders Wydad Casablanca had a list of 10 former winners in the draw for next year's African Champions League soccer race, facing a tough struggle in their bid to back the trend and retain the title. Now, many of the usual suspects return to the fray, including the record 8-time winners, Akli of Egypt, who were, upset in the year's final by the Moroccans. The African Confederations Cup holders, TP Mazembe Engelbert of the Democratic Republic of Congo, will also be highly fancied alongside compatriots AS Vita Club. Now, South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns, who were 2016 winners and knocked out of this year's quarterfinals by Wydad on penalties, are back for a fourth successive year. And there's a return as well for ASEC, ASEC Mimosa of Abidjan there, of Ivory Coast, whose sole victory in the continent's top cup competition came in 1999 there, of course. Also, we'll find out who Kumasi Asante Kotoko. They are MTN FA Cup holders who they are going to be playing in the preliminary stage of the CAF Confederations Cup after the draw. In all, entries have come in from about 9 of the 56 member and associate members, countries, of course, of the Confederation of Africa Football. All right, let's stick with the Ghana Premier League then, and we can talk about what we've been seeing when the Premier League is on. You know what? And we normally say this, the football may be the nation's biggest sport, but the pitches on which it's played, even at the level of organized competition like the Ghana Premier League, like the MTN FA Cup, is a great cause of worry. Now, Ashanti Gold head coach C.K. Akono isn't happy about the situation, which, according to him, is killing talent discovery in the country. According to the ex-Ghana captain, the nature of pitches used in the Ghana Premier League also leaves the cause of worry and really giving us lots of issues.
Obviously, finances, they don't have the resources to do it. Don't forget that the Just Pass League was not sponsored by any other, and there was no sponsor. And so it's difficult for them. We have to also understand them. It's difficult. Once, probably maybe the government must come in, help, and try to, as this was built by the government. That we have 1-2 in Takoradi, and Accra Sports Stadium was also improved. So if we do have better fields to train, for instance, one of the reasons why I even moved to Obuasi was the facilities they have. It gives me the appetite to work, as a coach. And so we have to improve on those areas, and we have good coaches also to improve our players. Trust me, if we're able to do that, it will enhance the quality of our game. We will improve in so many ways.
All right, so slight indictment then on his former employers. Talk about Dreams FC, because he says he was attracted to Ashanti Gold because of the great pitches. Let's hope to get some good pitches. At least Star Times has promised that in the light, and also sponsoring the Ghana Premier League. And we're looking forward to the artificial turfs they promised to lay out in the entire country. But let's talk about a league that has not got any issues at all with pitches. Maybe rather about the teams and who is likely to win it. The English Premier League, and manager Antonio Conte has defended his remarks that Chelsea are out of the title race after his side bounced back from defeat against struggling West Ham to comfortably win away to Huddersfield Town. Now, the Blues were criticised after losing to the Hammers on Saturday, a result which led Conte to concede the 2016-2017 champions could not win the Premier League. However, they moved level on points with second-place Manchester United after goals from Timio Bakayoko. That rings a bell. I don't know how Chelsea fans feel about that, really. Willian and Pedro ensured Huddersfield lost for a fifth time in 6 games. So Chelsea are 11 points behind leaders Manchester City, a gap the Italian believes is too large to bridge. We can have a look at what happened, though, last night.
Question mark ahead of Chelsea's visit to Huddersfield Town on Tuesday evening was how the champions would respond to coach Antonio Conte writing off their title defence before the new year. Defeat to West Ham at the weekend left the Blues 14 points off the summit, and looking to get 3 back, they visited the division's 12th best team and enjoyed more than 70% of the possession in the opening exchanges. It did, though, take more than 20 minutes for the champions to get their reward, turning defence into attack, and a clever finish from Timui Bakayoko got the Blues, clad in black, ahead. A little before the break, the dominance was doubled. Willian at the end of a ball in from Marcos Alonso out wide, the Brazilian nodding home his 5th of the campaign. It took very little of the second half for Chelsea to put the result beyond doubt. 4 minutes in and it was 3, Pedro tucking one beyond the keeper and into the corner. He could have had his second on the night soon after. However, he couldn't quite apply the finish to Eden Hazard's setup. Having had very little to do all night, Thibaut Courtois was visibly annoyed when he conceded with the last action of the game, beaten by a fine header. But Chelsea back to winning ways, victors by 3 goals to 1.
We were talking about this Crystal Palace game. Maybe we should just go to that. It was a dramatic game. Crystal Palace winning over West Ham there by 2 goals to 1. And you should understand how dramatic it was. West Ham really need the points to get themselves in that. And they were looking quite good after winning over Chelsea in that London derby. But Crystal Palace seemed to be on some run as well as they tried to run away from the relegation bracket. We can quickly have a look at that game. Crystal Palace won by 2 goals to 1.
1 win in 5, hosted 2 wins in as many matches when Crystal Palace entertained Watford on Tuesday evening. And it was the visitors who were quick to stun the bottom dwellers in England's top flight, Daryl Janmaat arriving at the back post to nod home as early as the 4th minute. The Hornets should have had a second on the stroke of the half-hour mark, Richarlison laying it on a plate for Troy Deeney, but he could only side foot wide of an open net instead of in. The best chances of the game were falling to the men in yellow, who brought out a fine stop from keeper Julian Speroni, with Richarlison again causing trouble. There'd been very little offensively offered by the home side, who came closest through Wilfried Zaha with less than 10 minutes remaining. His curler, though, going over and keeping Aurelio Gomez without a save to make. There would be late drama at Selhurst Park. First, Tom Cleverley handed his second yellow card and asked to leave the pitch. And almost immediately, the home side went on the attack against 10 men and were back in it.
Zaha comes forward here for Crystal Palace, takes it on, out by Aurelio Gomez and followed in. Bakary Sako is the man who will claim the goal. Oh, what a timely and vital goal that will be.
That laid the platform for one of the more remarkable finishes of the season, much to the joy of Selhurst Park.
Well, he's got the bidding of Janmaat now, he's got it in. MacArthur! What a turnaround this is for Crystal Palace, trailing for the best part of 90 minutes, and they needed stoppage time.
An unlikely but crucial 2-1 victory for Crystal Palace, only win number 3 of the season out of the drop zone.
Tottenham play.
So it seems to be working out there for Crystal Palace as they beat Watford there by 2 goals to 1. Obviously, Watford have been in good form, but lately they're having slight issues there in the English Premier League. Now, let's talk about the games to look forward to later tonight, but we have to do this. Pep Guardiola says he is sorry if Manchester City's derby celebrations insulted Manchester United, but not if only Jose Mourinho took offence. And that's interesting. What kind of apology is that? Well, it's been ongoing between Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho. And just to give you an idea of what Jose Mourinho himself said after that, he made the point. Look, Jose Mourinho said, the incident after City's 2-1 win was a question of diversity in behavior, diversity in education. So the Manchester derby is not officially over. We may be done with the action on the pitch, but the battle is still ongoing amongst the coaches in words. We'll see how all of these go. But let me just quickly remind you about the games that are coming up. So West Ham United host Arsenal. After beating Chelsea by 1-0, this should be an important win if they're able to get it. They play Arsenal in tonight's games. That's crazy. We can find out what Manchester United will do as well. But before that, Man City will be playing Swansea City. I don't know if that gives them an opportunity, if that gives them a chance, though. We know that Vincent Kompany is injured. He's not going to be playing this game. We'll see how the Man City team just shape up and they go for it. Manchester United will be playing at home to AFC Bournemouth. They will try to get the win if they can. Just to pick the other games for you, then Southampton will be up against Leicester City in the English Premier League, of course. Newcastle United will play against Everton, and we're having reports and all the indications that Christian Achu might be given a chance to play in this game. We know he was injured and all of that, so this should be an opportunity if he's allowed to come on and play. We know Tottenham Hotspur will play Brighton in tonight's games as well. So these are the games to look forward to. Southampton up against Leicester City. So English Premier League action on tonight, and we'll be bringing you the updates as we go through this. I mean, the major Grand Slams of the year very much over, but we're all looking forward to the Australian Open that begins early next year. So we've got some interesting news for you there, because former world #1 and two-time champion Victoria Azarenka has been given an Australian Open wildcard. Now, the 28-year-old pulled out of the US Open and the Belarus Davis Cup final earlier this year because, of a custody dispute over his young son. Azarenka is ranked 201 in the world and has not played since Wimbledon. So the champion in 2012 and 2013 at Melbourne Park, Azarenka has claimed that a judge in California has not allowed her to travel outside of California with 11-month-old Leo while a legal case is ongoing. It's good to see the former champion back, and I'm very sure in Wimbledon itself there will be interesting matchups. Of course, in the male division, I'm sure Roger Federer, all the guys, Rafa Nadal, will hope to have something to do. And it should be a good and new year for the likes of Stanislas Wawrinka to come up and show us what they've got. Novak Djokovic, if he's interested, should be very good as we look forward to the Australian Open. We can now talk some boxing, and Britain's Tyson Fury has vowed again. He's vowed to retain and get those world titles, which are rightfully his, according to him, after being given the green light to resume his career. Now, Fury tested positive for a banned steroid in February 2015, but accepted a backdated 2-year ban on Tuesday. Pending the return of his license, Fury wants to fight compatriot Anthony Joshua, the IBF WBA heavyweight champion. Now, just before we hear from him, there's a lot going on. Joseph Parker, who is actually holding the title for WBO, wants to fight Anthony Joshua. And we know Dante, who holds the title for WBC, also wants to fight him. It's going to be interesting where all of this actually goes to now, though. We can quickly get in and hear a special report there by Joy Sports' Asari Bediako.
The former world heavyweight champion was charged in June 2016 for using a banned steroid, but blamed the results on eating uncastrated wild boar. His victory over Vladimir Klitschko in 2015 was his last fight before beginning his legal battle with UK anti-doping UKAD. The 29-year-old Fury is free to fight again once he regains his boxing license. The British Boxing Board of Control, which manages the licensing of boxers in the UK, has agreed to the outcome. According to UKAD, last month, BBC Sport reported that UKAD feared it could be made insolvent or require a bailout over the dispute had Fury been cleared. Hughie Fury, Tyson's cousin, has reached a similar agreement after he also tested positive in February 2015. The Furies insist they have never knowingly or deliberately committed a violation. UKAD maintained that doping violations took place. The respective bouts of the Furies in February 2015, including Tyson's victory over Christian Hammer, have been disqualified, but results after that date, including the win over Klitschko, still stand.
So we're definitely looking forward to a fantastic bout, whoever he decides to fight, whether he goes for WBO champion Joseph Parker, goes for WBC champion, Wilder Dante, or goes for this man, Fury. Will be an interesting bout to look forward to. That's about it for sports here on the AM show, which came to you from digital address 0993341. I'm George Addo Jr. There's definitely more coming up on the AM show. Have a super morning.